Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Fishing Debunk. This is Adrian. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to debunk the the fishing line poundage rating. Okay, the question is, are you getting what you want? Okay, right. So I have to cut the crap short and just go straight to the thing. My first question to you is this. Okay. Now, assuming we have Daiwa J Braid, all right, let me show you. Okay, we have Daiwa J Braid, okay, followed by Fireline XP, followed by Fireline. Okay, let's take a 30-pound comparison for all these three braided fishing lines. All right, which one will break first and which one will break last? All right, before I even give you the answer, I'm sure most of you already, in your mind, you already have the answer. Okay, you will tell me that, well, the Daiwa J braid is going to break first, followed by the Fireline XP, followed by the Fireline. Okay, this is already answer that most of you will know by now. Okay, but question is this: why is there such a big discrepancy? They are all rated at 30 pounds. Why would there be such a big difference of one is significantly stronger than the others? It doesn't make any sense, right? You always hear people asking questions like, so how many pound line should I load into my fishing reel? You know, and things like that. And since they all are rated at 20 pound and they break at a completely different poundage rating. So my question to you is, which is the correct 20-pound rating? Is it the Fireline? Is it the Daiwa J Braid? Or is it the Fireline? So which is your definition of the real 20 pound? All right. See, this is where the problem lies. Okay. Now, but this can be easily solved if you get the correct idea. Okay. Okay. The problem that with this is that there is no standardized industrial testing of fishing lines across the board. You know, there's no standardized measurement. So all manufacturers can test in their own methods, test in their own ways, come up with different ratings, all right, and put whatever they like on the box. So that's why you see there's such a difference in the discrepancy across the industry. Now, except for IGFA, because IGFA have a standard set of criteria, okay, that your line must meet in order to gun for IGFA record. All right, so that is a standardized rating. But however, it's these lines are very rarely available, and they are very expensive because they need an extra set of certification for the line. All right, so people always say that, well, US lines are always underrated and the Japanese lines are overrated. So why is it like that? Okay, there's an explanation for it. Okay, as we all know, tying a knot will always weaken the line. 10%, 20%, even up to 40% when you tie a knot on your swivel, right? Tying a knot always weakens the line. Now, for a Japanese line, in general, what they do is they measure the absolute breaking strength. Okay, from the factory, do a test, absolute breaking strength. But you must remember, a 10-pound Japanese line, after you tie a knot to the swivel, are you still getting 10-pound breaking strength? No, it may be left with 8 pounds. Or even sometimes, if you do not tie a proper knot, you're only left with 6-pound breaking strength, right? Now, for the US, okay, what they do in general is that they already taken into consideration that you're going to tie a knot there. So I give you a 20-pound line breaking strength, you tie a knot, you know, you may end up with maybe something like 12 pound, 14 pound. Okay, so that is how they measure. This is where the difference is. So it does not mean that the Japanese lines are thinner and better. It does not mean that the American lines are just stronger. No, it's just the way they rate the fishing lines. All right, so how they measure it: one, they measured with the knot; the other one is without the knot. All right, now so it is by no coincidence, okay, it is by no coincidence, okay, that because like I said, you have answer, right? You know that the J braid will break first, followed by the tough line, followed by the Fireline. It is by no coincidence that the J braid is the thinnest, the tough line is the one in between, and the Fireline is the one that is the thickest. All right, so I'm going to show you here. Okay, as you can see, the J braid, okay, for the 30 pound, it comes in at 0.20 mm. Okay, that is crazy thin for a 30 pound line. Okay, followed by tough line XP. All right, if you see, okay, the tough line XP will is 0.28 mm as compared to the J braid, which is 0.20 mm. All right, and followed by the Fireline, which is crazy thick. All right, it's 0.38 mm. So 2028, and this is 38. All right, so it's by no coincidence, because you said that one will break first, followed by the next one, followed by the Fireline last. So actually the thickness of the line does matter. All right, if you notice, it is the thicker your line is, the stronger it is. All right, so okay, now this is where things get interesting. If you were to ignore the poundage ratings or written on the box at the tackle shop, ignoring it, let's ignore the J braid, ignore the half line, we ignore the Fireline ratings of poundage. All right, ignore it. We buy 0.20 mm thickness diameter, okay, for all three brands, because 0.20 can mean 30 pound for Daiwa, it can mean 20 pound for J braid, and it can mean 14 pound for Fireline. So just ignore all that, we just buy 0.20 mm. Interestingly, all three of them will break at about the same poundage, plus minus 5 to 15% at the very most. All right, so okay, the thing is this, in today's world, all right, all these manufacturers, they buy line pretty much from the same field raw material supplier. All right, everybody is working on pretty much the same material. Okay, why would one manufacturer have a line that is 3 times stronger than the other manufacturer, unless they have access to some super exotic material which no one else has access to? No, that does not happen, right? So basically they are all the same. All right, it's what they put on a box that they think will sell. But in actual fact, if you were to buy lines of the same diameter from all three different brands, ignoring the poundage, they break about the same, because it's pretty much the same thing. All right, now, okay, two years ago at one point, okay, everyone was saying, wow, Daiwa J braid, you know, super thin, super strong. It was very thin, and it had some crazy high poundage rating. All right, on the J braid lines. Okay, after people would use them, they'll curse and say, oh, J braid lousy, wow, break so often, it keep breaking on me. Now every time I cast this break that one it did not perform up to expectation. All right, now the problem being is, at that point of time, Daiwa actually rated the lines far too high for the thickness of the line, you know, like what we just saw. All right, now I too bought the J braid. I did not experience any of this problem which many of you experience. When I walk in the tackle shop, okay, because okay, I like to take tough line line ratings to the diameter ratio as a guideline for myself, right? So everybody have different opinion. You can have your own ratings to follow, but I prefer to follow tough line. So I thought it's pretty much balanced, right? So when I walk into the shop, I look at the J braid. I was actually looking for a 20 pound line. So when I saw that the J braid was like 0.16 mm, I was like, oh, it looks so thin for a 20 pound line. But I know that a tough line is about 0.21 mm. So what I did was I bought the 30 pound Daiwa of the same diameter, pretty much the same, about 0.2 or 0.21, and I used it as a 20 pound line, and well, it performed just like pretty much like my tough line. I didn't have these breakage issues which everybody was experiencing. All right, so okay, and then after all the complaints, okay, Daiwa actually came up with, at one point of time, they even had the lines with 3 different ratings on the spool. They have the Asian rating, they have the US rating, and they have the Europe rating. 3 different line poundage rating on the packaging. That even makes it more confusing. All right. Okay. The reason being is this: in the US and some part of Europe, okay, the law protects the consumers. Okay, it protects them, saying that, okay, in order for you to put this particular number on this product, you have to fulfill this specification set out by the government, okay, before you can put those ratings there, right? So if you do not fulfill those ratings, you cannot. That's why there's so many different variation of line poundage rating. Unfortunately, in Asia, I think the market is not big enough, so they did not, and nor did the government in Asia set a ruling on, you know, how you can rate your product. So it's a mess. It is a big mess. All right, that's why you see so many different line manufacturer ratings. They don't have a standard set of rules to follow. All right, okay. So in short, okay, what I'm trying to say is, when you buy line, buy based on line diameter. You do not buy based on the poundage rating. I know many of you are looking for, oh, I'm looking for the thinnest line with the highest breaking strength. All right, this is what every angler will look for. But you have to understand, there is no such thing as one is significantly better than the other. It may be better by the little wee bit, okay, but not by 2 times or 3 times better. All right, so you buy line based on poundage. All right, now next thing I'm going to explain is what PE line. Okay, what is PE line? Very often I hear fishermen talking about, I'm going to buy this PE, I'm going to buy the PE, and then after they ask, oh, so what poundage should I put in? Okay, now PE line is not a poundage rating. PE line is a line diameter rating. Okay, like for us, we use metric, which is cm. We have imperial, which is inches. All right. For the Japanese, they have this thing called gao or PE. Okay, so PE is an ancient way of how they measure the silk thread in Japan, which has been now used on fishing line. So PE line, I would say, is a very accurate way of measurement. Okay, simply because, like I said, you buy based on diameter. If you were to buy fishing line based on PE rating, which is line diameter rating, then you are getting it pretty much very accurate to what you're looking for. Like you know, PE1 across most of the brands, their breaking strength would be pretty much similar, plus minus, not too much. All right, not too much. Unlike comparing Japanese to the US line, where some can be super thick, some can be super thin. So look at the line diameter. Okay, do not look at the poundage rating. Okay, when you ask how many pound line should I load in, it's already wrong, because it can be very thin or it can be very thick. It can be very weak or it can be very strong. All right. Okay, that being said, okay, what I'm talking about is for Asian markets. For US market, they really have a standardized set of rules, so it doesn't apply to those. Not for Europe, not for US market, but pretty much more on Asian market where, you know, it's a mess here. Okay, now, okay, next thing is, people always ask, what line should I look in my reel? If you look at the reel spool, it always states there, okay, most of the time, 0. How many mm to how many 100 meters. All right, so you can get a rough gauge from there. Okay, try to follow what is on the spool. You can go thinner because braided lines are pretty much thinner. Like for example, they said 0.20 mm, 200 meters. All right, if you were to go for 0.15, you probably get about 250 meters or so. There about plus minus, just do your maths, you will roughly get it. All right, so that's it for today's topic on the fishing line. Okay, in the next video, I'm likely going to do the very detailed breakdown on fishing reel drags. Okay, this is going to be one of the really hotly debated ones. So I'm going to debunk, okay, all those ratings written on the box. All right, and meanwhile, during this COVID period where all of you are stuck at home, all right, with nothing better to do, why not do some very simple and interesting experiments at home? Okay, I'm sure many of you have been talking to your buddies. Oh, I want to buy this reel with 6 kg drag. I want to buy this reel with 10 kg drag. I want to buy this reel with this drag and that drag, you know, because it has such a fantastic specs. All right, okay, now this is what I want you to do. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so each 1.5 liter bottle, when filled to the brim with tap water, is exactly 1.5 kilos in weight. All right, so mount your reel onto your rod, pull your line through. All right, if your reel claims to have 10 kg drag, you can have 6 empty bottles, 6 bottles, 1.5 liter bottles of water with water filled to the brim. All right, now you can tie them together and then hook your line to it and try to lift it. Right, if your reel claims to have 3 kg drag, you can use 2 of these bottles. Okay, because 1.5 kilo each, 2 is 3 kg, 3 is 4.5 kg, 1.5 liter is 6 kg. All right, so instead of just reading what's on the box, mount your reel on your rod, pull the line through, and try to lift these bottles based on the weight of what your reel is capable of, or what it claims is capable of. All right, now most of you will be surprised. Okay, you will be surprised that your reel might not even match up to that particular claim ratings. Okay, many of you will find some may not. All right, so instead of seeing what's in the box, do a test, experiment yourself since you have the time. All right, it's going to be fun. And then when you have any questions, shoot, just ask me. All right, because this is related to the fishing drag video in my next fishing drag video. So this will, you know, give you some questions to ask. All right, and then yeah, and tell me about it. Did your tackle work as advertised? Is your rod and reel setup really capable? Okay, we talk about a 20-pound setup. A 20-pound setup is supposed to be able to take 30%, which is about 6 pounds of drag, right? So let's see if your 20-pound setup can take 6 pounds of drag when the fish were to take your line. Some big fish will take your line. Okay, and so thank you so much guys for watching. Okay, so please share the video, or if you like further updates from me, just click the subscribe button below. All right, and when my new video gets uploaded again, so you guys will be notified. Thank you. Bye bye.